Got traffic there. Blaster, just take it up to the departure end of the runway, then a left turn and a left downwind. Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, at or beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land at or beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down, low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, 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 go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final, you're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold, take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final, runway 9er clear to land.
Okay, all right, let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Oh, we have one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger, let's see, what we got, a tricycle, put it down, tricycle, put it down, tail dragger, down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here, you cleared land on 9, all the way to the white dot, go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Canard, just come to the runway and I might have to just send you around, that'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Canard's going to have to go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. You do not descend. Do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. You can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the downwinds. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're clear to land runway 9 on the white dot. Clear to land on the white dot. There you go. And the tricycle left on the hard surface and follow the flagman. Welcome. Thanks for being part of the show. And let's see, just find somebody to follow out follow on the final. And as you get close to the runway, if it's not going to work, we're going to send you around and then try to resequence you. Now, who else got sent around that's not back on the downwind? The Canard?
Yeah, Canard.
All right, Canard, there's a Gulfstream up there that went around too. I just lost sight of him, but you're going to make kind of a left-hand turn and stay low. I think Charlie Sierra, what's your altitude?
3,200.
Okay, that'll be fine. Just maintain VFR. I don't know what else is up there above you. Probably most everybody's down here, so just make a left-hand turn. We'll try to get you back here.
Canard's got the jet in sight.
Okay, the RV, maybe an RV-10, whatever, here on final. Keep your speed up and go all the way down to the, aim for the green dot for me. Actually, keep your speed up. There's a guy behind you. Aim for the green dot, and I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. You're clear to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate here. 2 guys on final. You're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around.
Yeah, I can follow.
Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that after 35 years, you would think, right? All right, so let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. Keep it airborne. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. Put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep it.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, three, two, one,
Good evening! Hello, and welcome to the Fire live stream this Thursday evening. It's bloody gorgeous outside, but we are here in the little secret studio at Wadswick, so maybe not quite so secret anymore, ready to bring you the live stream. We have got Luke Czepiela sitting in the green room, ready to talk to us shortly, so we're just going to run through some news. But before we get to the news, big thanks as ever to Sky Demon. Thank you very much, Sky Demon, for your continued support. And here is your extra special tip this week from Rob. It's a bit of a masterclass in wind, as it were.
Hi, I'm Rob from Sky Demon, and here's another top tip. As you plan a route in Sky Demon, you'll see the wind barbs fly onto the screen. Use the long and the short ticks on the barbs to easily see the wind strength, in this case around 10 knots. Or open the What's Here menu to read it directly. We include wind forecasts up to 24,000 feet and around 30 hours into the future, and we use this data when calculating the headings and ground speeds for your pilot's log. In the virtual radar, you can even see arrows of various sizes indicating a head or tailwind. Here you can see we have a nice tailwind, and opening What's Here confirms that it's 14 knots. This flight has been planned at 5,500 feet, which we can see in here. So that's the altitude for which we are showing wind on the main map. You can change this here, but you can also use the animation tool to see what the wind is doing at different altitudes. With the animation tool active, use a vertical swipe on it to change the level of the wind displayed. You can now also long press anywhere on the map in this mode to see the wind for that point. For more information, check out our website or our user manual from within the app.
What else could you want to know about wind?
That is, it's everything about wind and more.
Everything all you ever needed to know about wind. So, keeping to the windy theme, we don't have Simon live tonight. We have a recording of Simon. I could kind of like compress his weather forecast, I think, in just saying it's going to be bloody lovely. Oh, Scorchio.
Or as Nick Allen says, it's the day that Dr. Bling just says, Scorchio.
Oh, I like the accent. You do that again.
Scorchio.
Excellent. Well, anyway, here's Simon with a special summary shirt.
Hi everyone, hope that you are all well this evening. Looking forward to a holiday weekend. It's got to be good for flying because the shirt is out. Oh yes, it looks as if most of us are going to see some decent flying as we go through the course of this weekend. Of course, I'll keep you updated throughout at weatherweb.net and at weatherschool.co.uk. But this is how Friday shapes up. High pressure is in control. So it brings us a fine day for most of us. However, notice on the cloud ceiling forecasts here that we've got some cloud out west. And I think that's going to be one of the problems of forecasting this weekend is where is the cloud going to be. Got some more cloud as well lying through northern England, through the western parts of Midlands and through Wales as well. So there will be some cloud around. Typical bases probably coming in at about 2,000 to 4,000 feet. Tops on it about 8,000 feet at most. Most other areas seeing 4,000 plus bases and a very pleasant day. Only other thing to watch for, quite a strong east to northeasterly breeze affecting the far south of England. So just be aware of that. Elsewhere, winds are going to be light. Now, as we get in towards Saturday, a weak cold front just coming into Scotland. Those breaks in the front here, meaning that it is going to be a very weak feature. Elsewhere, though, it's generally fair. Yes, quite breezy across southern areas, but it looks as if it should be pleasant. Bases 3,000 to 5,000 feet, tops about 7,000 feet. Well broken cloud. More cloud, though, along the line of the front, as you would expect. But even here, base is typically around 2,000 feet, tops at about 8,000 feet. One or two showers as it moves through, but generally Saturday looks as if it should be a fair day again. Sunday, high pressure still in control, but look, the isobars still close together here across southern parts of England. So actually quite breezy. Northeasterlies typically around 15 to 18 knots. Could gust 25 knots across southern coast, and particularly in the channel. If you're thinking about a bit of a cross channel this weekend, then just get ready. The 2,000-3,000 foot winds, probably looking about 070 at about 30 knots. So it will be having an impact on your performance going across the channel. That weak cold front, as you see here, down through the Midlands, through East Anglia, and he picks up quite well here as well on the cloud ceiling forecast, showing quite a bit of cloud across eastern parts of England. Now, we could be looking at 1,000 to 2,000 foot as a base at first on that front, but that will quickly rise. It should break typical tops at about 8,000 feet. Very, very little precipitation along the front. If anything, elsewhere, 4,000 foot bases, tops about 6,000 feet, and another pleasant day for flying as well. And then on to holiday Monday. High pressure centred over Scotland on Monday. Very little cloud around by the looks of it. Quite breezy again with this east to northeasterly across many central, eastern, southern parts of England and Wales. Gusts of some 20 to 25 knots possible during the afternoon. Much lighter winds for northern England. For Scotland, some sea breezes developing here though. But for most, it looks pretty fair. Again, quite a breezy day through the channel. So, all in all, I don't think we can complain, can we, about that one? Hopefully you won't complain about weather school either. If you've not been yet, then this is your chance to come along to my next aviation weather school. This is going to be entirely online. It's presented live by me on the consecutive Tuesday evenings of the 13th and 20th of June between 6:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. It'd be super to see you there. Go to weatherschool.co.uk and book your place now. I'll teach you what you really need to know about flying weather and build your confidence in flying weather this summer and beyond. Okay, I will leave you with that for now. Have a super weekend, won't you? And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Simon. I think you're right. It's Scorchio with a bit of a breezy Scorchio. So Luke's waiting patiently in the green room. Can still see him there. Hello, Luke. We won't be long. So if you're here to see what Luke's got to say, then just bide your time a little bit. So we're just going to run through some news. Let's kick off with Dave.
Right. Well, the Department for Transport has been busy over the weekend. They issued 2 reports, one on the Friday night, one on the Saturday morning. One was about GA's General Aviation's carbon footprint in the UK. Apparently, in 2019, which is the year they measured, it was 795 million kilograms of carbon. 75% of that is attributed to business aviation, private jets and things like that, but 25% to the rest of us. And that includes pilot flight training, both private and professional. The good news is that the report also identifies 34 ways to reduce that carbon footprint. 24 of those are for the ground infrastructure, leaving just 10 for actual flight. They do a bit. Decarbonising flight is going to be a real challenge.
Use an iPad, not a pencil. Well, that's graphite carbon.
The second report was a bit more straightforward, if you like. If you've ever wondered what exactly is general aviation, the second report details it in a lot of detail. So most of them are available. If you go to the Flyer website, there's links on those to download them as PDFs.
Yeah, I like the way that in this one here, they kind of they use all of this. And there's got a little single engine piston. Is that on this one?
It says this is a zero carbon aircraft.
Yeah, which doesn't exist.
Yes. Yeah. Some inventing required first.
Yeah. No, indeed. Get back to us in 30 years' time or something. Okay, next story, bit of a sad story. FTA Global, the professional flight training school down at Shoreham, used to be called Flight Time Aviation. If you haven't heard, closed its doors last week, leaving up to 160 students in the lurch, basically, and out of pocket. There's been a whole load of people that have offered to help the students out, but none more, I would say, than Alex Whittingham of Bristol Ground School, who basically a lot of the flight training schools did well and said, okay, we'll do some deals. Alex kind of stepped up and said, if you haven't done your ground school, you haven't completed it yet, come to Bristol Ground, we'll do it for nothing. So basically, top chap, Alex. You can't get better than free. And also, there's a Facebook group and all sorts of other stuff going on. But effectively, the simple solution is don't pay money up front. Certainly don't pay huge amounts of money up front. This comes hard on the heels of the Tayside Aviation. There was a little video, really, really sad video there by a whole bunch of students who lost some money. Some people up to 70 grand.
Very sad.
I don't know how you recover from that, to be perfectly honest.
And I guess some of that money is generated by parents remortgaging houses and things like that. That's a horrible debt to carry.
And there is, if you are going to, most flight schools will want you to pay some money up front, but don't pay a huge amount. But you can also, if you pay by credit card, then there is some financial protection under consumer financial protection.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Very good point.
Yeah,
very good point.
Not a good thing.
No,
not a good thing.
So
there was also Bournemouth went bust last year as well.
Yeah,
they didn't actually go bust. They Bournemouth decided to close. As I understand it, the owners figured out that the school required a certain investment in terms of new fleet and everything else, and decided not to invest.
Right.
However, they closed, but they paid and refunded everybody for everything they paid, so no one lost out there.
Right.
They had the inconvenience of changing training providers,
Yeah.
which clearly is not ideal. But it was okay. Well, this business doesn't suit us anymore. Here's your money back.
Yeah.
Which I think is absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, FTA were actually were a great business. They were really.
They had a good reputation. They'd recently introduced their fair fees thing as well, which was kind of to try and get out of people paying huge amounts of money up front. Unfortunately, it kind of came a bit late.
Yeah.
But it's the right thing to do, but the wrong time.
Yeah.
As Dave White says, second time Alex has done that. Alex is an absolute top chap.
Yeah.
We'll get him on here maybe one night and have a chat with
definitely.
Alex. He can teach us all about polar navigation as well as being a top chap or something. Right.
Me. So I've got some good news, and that's from the CAA for older aircraft in the UK. So the CAA are making it easier for a number of aircraft, and these are what they call non-Part 21 types, to move from certificate of airworthiness to permit to fly. Now you can have a CAA permit, or you can have a permit as administered by the Light Aircraft Association, and this pretty much covers a lot of vintage types. There's a document I'll put in the comments that allows you to look at a whole bunch of non-Part 21 machines to see what you can bring across, and it'll influence fancy hangar segment later on. But basically, there's a cut-off date where the evidence that you need, because you have to apply on an individual basis to the CAA, and they've set it around June 1960. Before that, you need to just read it to make sure I get it right. Before the CAA may accept a declaration that the state of design, which is the country your aeroplane comes from, has no technical objection to the aircraft transferring to a permit to fly. Before that, after that, I've lost it. I must have pasted my thing over my thing.
Oh, no.
Anyway, it's handled on a case-by-case basis, and it opens a door to a whole bunch of aeroplanes, which could be really interesting. And to the LAA, because most of these will transfer to LAA permit if you go for that. And you can have types, as long as they don't exceed 300 miles an hour or 299, up to 2,000 kilograms, an installed engine, either single one of 400 horsepower or combined 600 horsepower.
Wow.
So so there's some good potential there. And the CAA, and this is, I know some of the people who've been working on this behind the scenes, and it's a great collaboration between a whole bunch of people to make this possible. So there's a link to the main document about this in the comments, and a link to some of the types that you can get that could potentially be affected by this there as well. So go have a look.
Cool.
And we have a piece underway by Ed Bellamy in our Instant Expert series, looking into this a bit more detail so that we can, that's coming up. He's taking Ed a little while to write it. He can't do it overnight.
Why not? So well done, CA, and you've turned such an important, exciting thing into probably the dullest piece of comms ever. But anyway, well done, CA. Yeah, well done, CA. Johnny, are you next?
Yeah.
You are.
So there's a new engine. So Delta Hawk have finally got FAA certification for their DHK 180, which is a jet burning piston engine. It's an inverted V, turbocharged and supercharged with fuel injection, liquid cooling. And they say it's got 40% fewer moving parts, more usable torque, and burns less fuel.
40% fewer than what?
I guess
than something with a lot
more moving parts. Yeah.
And this engine they've been pursuing certification of this for as long as
years.
I can remember.
Since about 1960, they might get a permit for it.
Yeah, so they're looking at, obviously, airframe manufacturers, kit builders, and they've had some interest from NASA. They're working on some small subscale test vehicle with NASA. But yeah, maybe we might well see it in some kit built aircraft, I guess, in the next few months.
You and I, Ian and I, were in a hangar once in Florida, weren't we? And there was a Delta Hawk in a Cirrus.
Yeah.
And I think the same engine was, I can't remember whether it was in that same hangar, that was it in a Velocity or something as well. I know it had flown in a Velocity, but I remember seeing it in the Cirrus.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mad hangar, really.
It was a mad hangar, full of mad stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do we know how many horsepower it is?
It is 180, yeah.
180.
202 cubic inches, 180 horse.
Wow. Excellent. Good. Dave.
Right, just a quick one, really, because Ian and I were at Wickham last Friday, and we went visiting Private Flyer Fest, and we went shopping for aircraft. The idea is because there are a lot of new aircraft there, a lot of used ones as well, and we just went round talking to various exhibitors about what it costs to buy their aircraft, and we did come across some lovely pieces. There was that brand new TBM 960. What was it? 2
days old.
$5
million.
$5 million. Yeah,
Dave bought 3.
But so the video is out. It's on YouTube. We turned it around. Ian turned it around very quickly over the weekend. So go there and have a look at it.
Absolutely. And the last bit of news before we move to Luke is just to say that the Lancashire Beach fly-in Morecambe Bay St Knots, I think it's called around there, is on. Ed's going to post the link in the forum. So if you fancy landing on a beach in complete safety, I think it is in complete safety. It's a very well examined beach and hard compacted sand. So go take a look there.
The link is on your screen.
Link is on your screen. Everything you need to know is there. So. Right, I think.
Wow, that's like the fastest news we've ever done.
Fastest news we've ever done. All I need to do is to scroll slowly to the right video, which is down here somewhere. Where's it gone?
There it is.
Should we talk about ourselves?
There we go.
Talk amongst yourselves. Right, just play this video. This is Luke, our guest. So have a look at what Luke's been flying recently, and we'll talk to him after this video.
Dart is on bullseye. Yeah.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Luke, we're really pleased to be joined by Luke tonight, Luke Czepiela, who's an airline pilot, Poland's first Redbull Air Race pilot, and now a legendary Cub handler, having planted one on the top of the Burj Al Arab in Dubai. Luke, so first of all, I guess Redbull Air Racing, that's flying fast in between pylons, and that's kind of what it is. But this Cub landing on a hotel, that must have been something completely different and completely new. How did you approach it? Not literally, I mean the whole thing. How did you approach doing it safely, doing it, getting practice in, that sort of thing?
It's been actually 2 years in the works, from the idea to actually landing on the Burj Al Arab. So the first project I ever did with the carbon cap was landing on a wooden pier in Poland. And, as you say, I've been flying aerobatics all my life, flying extras, edges, and then I moved to the air race. And when I came up with the idea of landing a plane in the city center, that's the one where I landed on the pier in Poland, I was looking for aircraft that would be capable of doing really nice stall performance. And my friend, he's actually a dealer for cap crafters in Europe. So I borrowed one and I started flying it. And after I landed on the pier, I called him and I said, like, hey man, I'm not going to give it back to you. I love this plane. I want to buy it. And as soon as I started flying more and I explored the capabilities of the aircraft, I was always laughing to my friends that the carbon cap is like a helicopter for poor people. It costs a quarter of what the R44 does, and it's way cheaper to operate. And we were laughing a lot at this phrase, helicopter for poor people. And then one day it sank in me. I was saying, oh, but why don't we do something that looks like it was specifically done for the helicopters, but let's do it with the planes. So we came up with the idea of landing on the helipad, and of course, which one is more famous than the one on top of Burj Al Arab? So immediately we called our colleagues in Dubai. We told them about our idea. Everyone was super excited about it, and I got to work, and boy, it was a lot of practice and a lot of the modifications we had to do to the aircraft, a lot to do with the permissions. It's not easy to do something like this legally.
So just talk us through, obviously it's a difficult thing to sort out legally, but in terms of the aircraft modifications, obviously you had some help from somebody else quite well known. How did that involvement come about, and also how did you approach Redbull and talk them through this?
Redbull is a fantastic idea, a fantastic company that once you go to them with the idea, they will do their best to give wings to your dreams. So all the projects I had with them, flying under the bridges, landing on the pier, and then landing on the Burj Al Arab. I went to local management here, my Redbull athlete manager Wojtek, who's actually watching, I think, and hi. And I told him, like, hey, we should do something like that. I think it was a week after that he called Redbull UAE. He told them about our idea, and 2 weeks later we were actually on the plane to Dubai to do the location check, walk around the helipad, measure the distances. I went back after that. I painted a big circle on the local airport, and I started practicing with my stock carbon cap. And 20% of those landings were actually successful. But I knew it could be done. So having this project globally, looking like it's going to be a great success, we called Cap Crafters. We told them, like, listen, I have my own plane, but it's a stock one. It's pretty heavy. For what we want to do, we need your help. We need the lightest aircraft you have. We probably need something with a nose wheel. They just introduced the NX cap. I wanted something with the nose wheel so I could have the maximum braking and not risk the nose over, and also hitting with the tail, flying at high alpha. So we flew to US to Cap Crafters. We started testing with 3 different cap designs, and it looked like the most important part of such a short landing would be the weight of the aircraft. So we went with carbon cap SS, the lightest one they have, and but it was still pretty heavy. And Cap Crafters, they have a really good partnership with Mike Bailey, the famous YouTuber, the guy who built the Draco, PT6 powered Vilga and Scrappy. And when they told me, like, hey, we're going to work with Mike on this project and he's going to build the aircraft for you, I knew that it's going to be a great success. We changed so many things on this aircraft. It looks stock from the outside, but we had way bigger prop, and the standard engine wouldn't spin the prop quickly enough, to develop the thrust we needed in case of the go around. So Mike added the nitro, so it's an aircraft in the world I know of with nitrous oxide on it. So we went from 180 to 230 horsepower. So in case of a go around, I could just pull it almost vertically like my H540. We removed all the tanks from the wings and moved them to the aft of the aircraft to make the center of gravity lower and further back. We installed the smoke system, the nitrous, everything in the tail. We wanted to have the CFG as far aft as we can, so I would have all the braking available without tipping the aircraft over the nose. Gosh, we did a lot. The undercarriage. We went from standard aluminium for titanium. Even the prop bolts, just to save a couple of grams and move the center of gravity back. We removed the steel bolts and went with titanium there. So yeah, a lot of mods just to make it as safe as possible. Because once we could prove that this can be done safely, then we had the CAA in Dubai on our side to work with us and give their approval for such a incredibly, how to say it. We do crazy things, but we don't do stupid things. So we needed to show them that we don't do stupid. We do stuff that looks impossible, but it's well prepared. And all in all, I think it was about 650 landings before we attempted to actually fly anywhere close to the helipad.
So you said earlier, just a quick question. You said when you drew the circle on the airport and you practiced with your Cub, you got about 20% success rate. Did you decide, did you have a kind of like, okay, well, if we can get to 80%, it's on, or if we can never get beyond 30%, it's off? Or was it like 100% or nothing?
Yeah, so once I started training, I had 20%. Then I called guys at Capcrafters. I went for some flying technique improvement course in US. I flew a lot. Mike was looking at us. The guys from Capcrafters were looking at us. And once I improved my flying technique, all the flying I've been doing up until now was fast. Be as fast as you can, win medals. And now I had to fly as slow as I can. So it was something totally new for me. I know how to fly the aircraft at the edge of its capabilities. My aerobatic display, I hover the edge by 40 as well. But this was something else. So once my technique improved, I got about, depending on the wind, between 60 to 80% success rate with the stock aircraft. So I knew that's pretty good. And knowing the technical improvements Mike was building for us, I knew that once we go to US, it's going to be way better. So before we spent a lot of money on the project, we wanted to have the aircraft ready in US, and I went testing there. And on the first day, first time ever flying this aircraft, on the first day, I already had about 80% success rate. And then by the end of the second day, I was doing 100% of those landings with almost no wind within the circle. So yeah, a lot of hard work went there.
Did you during your training, did you ever land? I mean, when it's paint on the runway, it's okay. But did you ever land early? Because clearly landing early would have been not entertaining. Would have been bad.
Yeah, it would have been very bad. I did have a couple of landings that were short before the actual helipad. That's why we decided to make the landing distance. The helipad was 27 meters, but the landing distance was 19 because we moved the touchdown zone by the length of the fuselage. So I would have the tail clear when actually touching down. So we've reduced the landing distance by moving the touchdown zone further up onto the helipad, just as one of the safety precautions.
Carry on. I'm going to.
All right. So was it possible? So the brake here, the brakes you had on it, I presume, pretty powerful. I think they might have been uprated as well, weren't they?
Yeah, there were 2 piston brakes, way better than the standard ones.
Yeah, and I presume you still had enough braking that you could put it on its nose if you used them too much.
Absolutely. Even having moved the center of gravity so far aft with the fuel and the smoke and all the modifications, I also had a 6 kilo bumper mounted under the tail. If you look at the videos or the pictures of the aircraft, you will see like a fin on the jets. On the jets, they use it to stabilize the aircraft. This fin for us was a bumper made out of carbon fiber and fiberglass rod that would, actually you can see it behind me. This was a tail strike protection, coming so slow to land on the pad. I was really afraid that, having the slower you go, the higher the alpha. And dragging the tail low, I was really afraid of hitting the tail and crumbling the the back of the aircraft. So this was a great something for my head, great assurance for me. Even if I hit it, nothing is going to happen to the aircraft, and I can go around.
And one of the questions in the comments, Annabelle asks, watching one of the longer videos, it looked like there was definitely a chance of ripping off the undercarriage if you'd landed. Obviously, coming in, putting the gear down too soon, the gear is going to catch the edge. And I guess that's the only thing that can stop that is just purely you deciding where it's going to touch down.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we decided to move the touchdown zone. Actually, on the actual landing, I was slightly short of the touchdown zone, but already within 1.5 meters inside the helipad. So what was really difficult for me, especially on the first day, you can see the edge of the helipad is like 3-4 feet behind the first mark where I touched. So that was pretty close, but yes, still within the touchdown zone.
Yeah. So what one in the video that we saw earlier? I mean, that was clearly there was an edit done there, and there was one point when you were kind of pumping the throttle after you'd landed.
That was from happiness. And that was like audio signal to all the people who are waiting in the lift shaft and who had to be hidden. It was like hey, I'm there, I'm happy, just to let everyone know I'm on top.
So did the hotel manager have to say to the people down perhaps in the lobby waiting to go up, sorry, you can't go up at the moment?
Yeah, you can imagine this was really something big for the hotel. That's the only 7-star hotel in the world, and the suite there, it cost a lot of money. So when we had to ask people to vacate the beach, because we use the beach as a safety and runway, in case something happened, I could land on the beach at the bottom of the hotel. And if you have guests paying thousands and thousands of dollars for to stay there, and somebody comes and says, like, guys, can you just maybe move to the pool because we need this place in case the aircraft has to land there in case of emergency, they probably were not too happy. But once they saw the video, it was amazing reaction. I've stayed for 2 nights in the Burj Al Arab after the landing. And all the people who saw my T-shirts with Redbull on it, everyone was congratulating, and it was pretty amazing.
Brilliant. I hope you didn't have to pay for the big suites when you were staying up.
This time I got it for free.
That's handy. So there was someone was saying when you did the event, and there was lots of media about it, that someone suggested you learnt to fly in the UK. Is that true? Did you do any flying in the UK?
Yes, that's correct. So I had my gliding license. I started gliding when I was 16. And then when I was 19, I had to decide what to do with my life. I wanted to go to the military. Polish Air Force was not recruiting back then. And so I decided to come to UK to learn the language, earn some money. Poland was not in the EU back then, so I needed work visa, which probably I wouldn't get as a 19-year-old. So I became a babysitter. I came to UK as an au pair. I went to a family in Biggin Hill. And when the kids were at school, I would run up the hill to Biggin Hill. And I started working with Falcon Flying Services for Sync. I was working there as an engineer. I already had the engineering experience from my high school. And Sync let me fly his aircraft in exchange for work in the hangar. So for every couple of hours I was doing as the engineer on his aircraft, he let me fly one of the 152s, and that's how I got my PPL with Falcon.
Brilliant. Oh, fantastic story. Biggin Hill as well.
That's really good. A question in the comments, Luke. Riverrock said, how much did weather play a part, and was wind critical?
Yes, absolutely. If you, one of the comments that I saw most often when we posted the video, people were saying like, yeah, but the guys in Alaska, they landed at way shorter. They do, but they usually have 20 or 25 knots of headwind. Having this disc suspended in the clear air outside of the building, it created such a big vortex that whenever the wind was over 12 knots, the aircraft was uncontrollable. It would create so much turbulence that the aircraft was just thrown around and I had to abort every time. The first day, actually, the project happened on Tuesday. And when we tried it on Monday, when we had 15 knots of wind, which we thought 15 would be our maximum, the aircraft would get a wind shear on short final, gaining 10 knots just before touchdown. Obviously, that would be too high speed to land and stop. And as I was trying to fly off, the vortex would roll the aircraft towards the building. Even with full right aileron, the aircraft would keep rolling left. So I had all cross-controlled with nitrous just pulling out of there. And yeah, we decided to reduce the winds that we set out. From training, we knew that the minimum wind we want to make it safely would be 7 knots, and the maximum would be 12. So with only 7 knots of wind, this distance is not a lot for a stall pilot. And that was one of the issues with the wind. The other one was direction. Having the hotel on the shore, you usually get the breeze from the sea or from the land. And the only approach angles I could have used, they were parallel to the beach. So this kind of wind in Dubai, it happens only 5 to 8% of the time. So we had to do it at the sunrise when the wind is shifting from land to the sea. And the window that it shifts, it's very, very short. And actually on the project day, I went there and I did 2 practice approaches and the wind was calm. And I thought, well, it's not going to happen today. And on the 3rd practice approach, Mike Patey, who was on the radio, he told me the wind is steady at 7. And I knew that's our minimum. It's not going to get any better. So I quickly changed my mindset from practice approach to the actual landing. 30 seconds later, I was on the helipad. And just as I got out from the aircraft, the wind died down again and started shifting towards the sea. So it was incredibly lucky with the weather.
So did they film? They must have filmed every approach in that case, just in case that one turned out to be the approach. Because you would have been a bit annoyed if you'd landed. No, we didn't have the cameras rolling. We missed it. Can you do it again?
Probably would try. But yeah, we practiced all the attempts. All in all, we had 3 attempts on Monday morning when the wind was too strong. And I think next week or the week after, we're going to put out the behind-the-scenes video, and you will see the failed attempts. Then on Monday afternoon, we decided to try again, because the forecast was for the wind to die down, and it did. It died down to 0. So I just flew around for 40 minutes with 2 helicopters following me. And only on Tuesday morning that we were lucky enough to get 7 knots from the direction that we wanted.
So was there, I mean, what was your plan if you kind of managed to brake, but not brake enough and was clearly going to go off the, I mean, I guess that's where the nitrous and the escape plan is just full throttle and run upwards.
Yeah, absolutely. With nitrous, this aircraft, it just flies away like a rocket. You just shove the throttle forward and then you can put it almost to a vertical. So in case I would touch down after the touchdown zone, I could see that I'm not going to stop. Just shove the nose down, use the gravity, use the nitrous, and fly off. So landing short was the biggest issue, and something that I never expected when I thought of the project was that having it suspended 200 meters in the air, you don't have any depth perception. It's so easy to land at the airport where you see your glide path. And when I was looking at the videos from Monday, I was asking everyone, dude, why am I coming so shallow? All the practice approaches I did at the airport, they were super steep, just to load the undercarriage with the, as we close the flaps, just before you touch down, you kill all the lift. A lot of energy is transferred to the undercarriage, the tires and the shocks, so you don't have to brake so hard. And my practice approaches, they seemed really, really shallow. But from the air, they seemed like a 6-degree London City approach. Having no depth perception, it made it a lot harder than it actually looks.
Because the flaps, the flaps are up here, aren't they? in the cut. So you kind of, is it one of those things where you could do with like a third hand, with like throttle, stick, flaps?
Yeah, it is actually. I was flying like hand on the throttle, and then when I knew I have the touchdown zone assured, then I just chopped the power and closed the flaps to kill the lift. And when I fly air shows with this aircraft, it's actually really funny if you look at the in-cockpit footage, because I usually keep my hand on the flaps and I move the throttle with my elbow. And it's like always, got the power.
It looks like your takeoff from the helipad afterwards was just as exciting as a landing.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it was a cherry on top. It was a reward for all the pain of 2 years of hard work and all the preparations. Takeoff was just magical. You know, having this much power. I was airborne before the actual edge of the helipad, but I wanted to do something for myself and dive off and just follow the outside of the building. And once I added the power with the nitrous, you know, the aircraft went up high back to the elevation of the helipad, and then I started small aerobatic display just to celebrate.
So what was your actual? If you got 7-knot wind, what was the kind of ground speed that you were coming in at, or the airspeed really?
The airspeed is not really reliable flying this low at high alpha. But what we were doing for the last week before the actual attempt, we had Mike at the airport with a speed gun, and you will actually see it on the video that he's standing there with the speed gun. And we saw that with 30 miles per hour ground speed, I would stop every time. So just to buy ourselves some safety margin, we decided that 28 would be the number to aim for. And I was doing all the approach with 28 miles per hour ground speed with 7 knots headwind.
Wow. That's pretty slow. That's pretty slow. Talking of the opposite of pretty slow, I'm sure you've watched lots of Mike Patey videos when he was building Scrappy. At the end of like a 15-minute video, most normal people feel tired just having watched the video. When you're kind of like working with him in person, do you just at the end of the day just go, I'm just tired now? Does he ever stop?
He doesn't. He's incredible. I'm really envious of his energy. You know, it looks like when he was young, he fell into a tap with Redbull or something. You know, this guy is so full of energy, and I'm so envious because, you know, I like my sleep and I like to relax after flying. And Mike is 24/7. He's ready to go always, and I love him for that. You know, he's incredible, and his energy is contagious. You know, sometimes when we did 3 or 4 trainings in Dubai and he was looking at me training, he would shout on the radio like, "Oh yeah, you're doing great, keep going." And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do another.
Did he ever say to you, "Back to work"?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Someone asked in the comments, how much were you involved in the design and build, or was it all kind of mostly driven by Mike?
Yeah, so the actual mods, they were mostly done, well, they were all done by Mike, but when we had our first phone call, I told him what I feel I need, what I would like him to do, and of course he flies a lot himself, so all the points I mentioned, like I need a tail strike protection, I need the CG moved back, he was right on it. He said, yeah, I understand why you're saying that. I understand why you're saying that. And then he just went to a drawing board and he did it all exactly as I expected him to do. And I just love working with him.
Where's the airplane now? Have you?
So after landing in Dubai, we put the aircraft on a 747. We've sent it to Poland. We had the aircraft here for the last 5 weeks. And it was on display in Austria in Hangar 7 for the last couple of days, for the last couple of weeks actually. And about 2 weeks ago, I brought the aircraft back to Poland, where we're doing a lot of media rights with journalists. And actually today we finished flying in Warsaw, and I was on the way to Czech Republic for the air show. I decided to stop in my house, so the aircraft is actually in my garden. So.
is your garden 200 meters up?
Not yet. Not yet. I'm working on some spectacular feature for the garden, but for now it's just just a nice grass strip.
It's a regular strip, is it? It's not just a normal size garden that you can fly your Super Cub. You can fly your Super Carbon Cub in and out of.
Yeah, so actually I bought this piece of land with the idea to keep all my aircraft here.
Right.
So it's normal grass strip. It's about 750 meters long runway, so it wasn't really an issue to land here with the Cub.
No, and when you going back to the very beginning, you said your friend was the Carbon Cub dealer, and you borrowed a Carbon Cub to land on the pier. Did you tell him it was to land on the pier, or did you just say, "I need to borrow your aircraft"?
No, I had to tell him because we needed to change the insurance for that. But yeah, he was up for it. He loves crazy ideas. He was quite upset when I thought, yeah, I'm not giving it back because it was one of the demo aircrafts. But we got another one to him.
I guess the obvious question that maybe someone's asked already, I'm not sure, but what's next?
Yeah, I'd love to tell you. Pilots are watching it, so I don't want anyone to steal my ideas. But there's a couple of really good ones coming. There will be another one happening in October, maybe November, later this year. We have something planned for the beginning of next year, and something really, really big for the 25-26 seasons. This one takes a lot of time with the permissions as well. So yeah, I'm not just going to enjoy the fame now and sit back, relax. We have a lot of work. And I really hope that one day some sort of our races will come back.
Yeah. And are you going to Oshkosh at all? You flying at Oshkosh in maybe the stall competition or something?
Yes. So the aircraft, the project aircraft, we have it here in Poland until middle of June. Then we pack it up on a 747. It flies to Yakima, Washington, where the Cub crafters are based. It's going to be assembled there and flown to Oshkosh. I'm going to Oshkosh to do some public speaking, autograph sessions, because Oshkosh is a little bit too big to have the aircraft on static display and dynamic as well. Yeah. And I'm not going to fly there, but I will fly the aircraft at Reno for the stall drag competition. Most likely I will fly it at High Sierra, and next year in Valdez, the famous stall competition in Valdez. A lot of flying coming up.
That sounds awful.
Absolutely. You want to swap?
We'll be at Oshkosh, so we'll maybe bump into you. Stand in the queue, see if we can get your autograph.
Yeah. Please do visit us at the Cub Crafters stand.
Yeah, no, we will do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's a question. Alan Forbes said, "What was the stall speed of your modified Carbon Cub? Did it even stall?"
It's really nice when it stalls because usually the tail lets go first. So the tail will get really soft before the wing stalls, and the aircraft will lower the nose and start flying again. I reckon it was something in the region of 25-24 knots. I was not getting really close to the stall speed because the alpha was too high and I wouldn't be able to see over the nose very well.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, time's moved on. It's nearly 20 past 8. So in the UK, I guess 20 past 9 for you. You need to get to bed for your display tomorrow over the weekend. There's not much pace here. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure and super congratulations on that feat again. Clearly,
that was amazing.
Yeah, slightly mad, but amazing. Yeah, high stakes really. Yeah, high stakes.
It was, but if you play hard, you get the good rewards as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And next time I see you sing, he'll be so happy that it'll all be in Biggin Hill. And,
I would love to come back to Biggin and fly some air shows there. That's where I trained. I was part in the Honda Dream Team with Will Curtis. I flew some aerobatics with Justin Gorman down at Shoreham and at Red Hill as well. So it would be nice to come back to the UK and fly air shows now.
Well, if you come back, let us know. We'll
Yeah.
we'll come and see you and cheer you on and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Luke, thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you in Oshkosh.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers, Luke. Must be time for. Paul Goodell says, superb interview with lots of great detail. Thanks, Luke.
Yeah,
Another
no.
top quality guest.
It was
a great guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Really
Yeah.
good, yeah.
And so kind of like normal.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just I know, but I think that was because it had been kept secret so well. It was that the kind of day it appeared, it's like everyone was just blown away, weren't they?
Yeah.
So
maybe next year I'll be doing it like a plane swap mid-air, and then
yeah, no one probably wants to talk.
That's why I didn't mention it. I thought I'd probably like we'll never get to talk to anyone from Redbull ever again.
I wonder whether Mike was probably like, and next, let's use 2 turbines.
Let's lower it down vertically.
Yeah, it's like reverse parking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Only Red Bull could make reverse parking cool, couldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Fancy hangar. Because the CAA are opening the door a little more to allow non-Part 21 category aircraft onto permit, we thought, hey, let's look at the list and pick aeroplanes that we'd like to take advantage of this new ruling. So who's first?
Your choice, Ed.
Let's go, Dave.
I knew you were going to say that. Well, it won't come as much of a surprise. The aircraft I've chosen to take from the C of A to permit is a Luscombe Silver Air 8. Of course.
Ooh!
Of course.
I'm shocked.
Well, there's a bit more to it than this because during the 1990s, a chap called Ron Souche, who was a well-known and respected restorer of classic aircraft, he started importing Luscombes from the States. And there was quite a lot came over, but at some point the CAA decided they didn't want that to continue. So they said any more new ones have got to go on a C of A. And a few, not very many, but a few had to go down that route. And it's kind of killed the idea of bringing Luscombes in from the States, which is a real shame because, as you know, they are a fantastic little aircraft. They combine good flying qualities with that classic vintage touch. And apparently, I've just been looking, there are 66 on the UK register at the moment. Most of them come through from the 1990s. But the days of the cheap Luscombe, which is what they were back in the 90s, the days of the cheap Luscombe are gone, which is probably a good thing because they've all been looked after, all been improved and maintained well. The one that was pictured is actually for sale.
And that might be the most expensive Luscombe going, I think.
Well, it's $49,000 in the States.
Okay.
That's not too bad.
That's not too bad, no.
I thought because there is a beautifully polished restored Luscombe for sale in the UK at the moment, and I think it's somewhere like £80,000.
There is. Yeah, I've seen that one. I counted that one. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It might be the best Luscombe ever.
Yeah.
But
$49,000. That's going to work out about £40,000 by the time of year.
Another 20 grand to ship it over and pay the VAT.
Oh yeah.
It's only money. It's fine, isn't it?
So
do you think the CAA have got a department called the Fun Sponge Department?
Well, no, I don't think they do.
No. Do you think they got rid of the Fun Sponge Department?
Maybe, yeah.
We had this. We don't need it anymore. Let's get rid of it. We can't afford it.
Yeah. Nick Allen said, Dave, did not see that coming.
Right.
There's a surprise.
Yeah, we're all coloured surprised here.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. Who knew Dave was a fan of a Luscombe? Johnny.
Right, I've gone for, this is a bit obscure, and I did check the massive 400-page PDF with all the aircraft. It's
like select your aeroplane.
Yeah. So this is the Pilatus P2.
Ooh, nice.
Which I've learned, I've known about it for a long time, but I didn't realise it's a metal, wood and fabric aeroplane.
What? Where's the wood in it?
Inside somewhere.
Is it like
a single
trim?
piece
Is it
of
like
wood?
walnut trim or something? Old man dash.
No, it's Swiss. It'll be a cuckoo clock on the dash.
And loads of parts came from other Swiss Air Force aircraft, apparently, including the landing gear, which, if the internet is to be believed, came from BF 109s.
It does look suitably spindly.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like I'm going to have you.
I know the Pilates. This always makes me feel it's like that funny little device on the propeller. Is that for getting juice out of lemons? Skycrew says I would buy it for the. There we go. I'd buy it for the spinner alone. Yeah. And there we go. Annabelle says, "Is that a lemon juice from the spinner?"
I don't know is it a picture in the background, or is there like a set of steps hanging off the leading edge of the other wing? Or something?
No, it's something under the cowling that drops down.
What for?
I don't know. I haven't Googled that hard yet.
It's Swiss. It's going to be very functional. And it's like nothing is inaccessible on our Swiss aeroplane kind of thing. Right. That is very shiny. I'm quite liking it. Aratiques. Darren said, we were thinking lampshade.
And it did actually feature in an Indiana Jones film.
It did?
Yeah, as the generic Nazi fighter.
Yeah. Well, there was a time during there was
called in the Swiss Nazis.
Jesus.
There was during the in the UK air show kind of scene in the 80s. It was quite often used as like the bad guy aeroplane before people started restoring ME-109s and things. So that's a good choice. I like that. Ian, what have you gone for?
Well, I went for an aeroplane where the manufacturer is clearly, presumably, out of business and not really interested in supporting it anymore, kind of thing, which I think is a kind of prerequisite. So, I went for this.
Boeing.
I went for Boeing.
Boeing probably don't even remember they made this.
Right, it's like Boeing. Yeah, can you pass through to the parts department? I need something for my steerman. I'm going to guess, but I could be completely wrong, and they could just have everything. Go, yes, sir. Hang on a second. Get behind Michael O'Leary. Boeing Stearman, absolute classic aircraft. There's a whole bunch of them on the NREG in the UK, and they're on the NREG, I suspect, for a reason. And I think that may well change, given that someone should approach the CA and make a case for putting a Stearman on a permit. And I think it will be an ideal aircraft to be on a permit.
I would say that would probably that will be a great airplane to have on a permit, because actually it's relatively simple.
Yeah,
easy to maintain, pretty easy to maintain, I would say.
Yeah.
And Boeing, if you write a letter to Boeing saying, "Have you got any objection to this?" They'll go, "The what?"
They go, "What? Who?" No. So I reckon Stearman is probably. I think that's right. That I'm going to decide that is what the whole change in regulation was designed around. Things like Stearmans.
Someone in the CAA went, "There should be more Stearmans."
Yes, exactly.
Well, Kat Burton says Ian's in the lead.
Thank you.
But that is only until my choice. I feel.
Really?
I think, I'm channeling some strong trousered undercarriage love.
Oh.
And I think the audience will agree with me, because you can have a twin with this, and there's a very beautiful twin.
I did think Piper Apache. Have you gone for Piper Apache?
Well, which Piper Apache is on the list. It's in the non-Part 21 list, and probably if you wrote to Piper and went, "Will you support the Apache?" they'd go, "Not really anymore." So.
Thank you. That is a true statement. That's
the
normal Piper standard reply, isn't it?
Yes.
That is a true statement.
Yes. Annabelle says, "I bet Ed has chosen something." Well, actually, Annabelle, I have. And Tom is close. Rapide. I'm not sure if the Rapide would. No, the Rapide wouldn't qualify because it's got too many seats. However, this fabulous little thing is just spot on. It's the DH90 Dragonfly. It doesn't exceed the weight limit because you've got to be under, I think, 4,400 pounds. It's got it's 242 horsepower Gypsy engines, so you don't exceed the horsepower limits. It's got the right number of seats, and it's on the list. There's 2 still in existence, and this is a beautiful biplane from 1936. They didn't make many of them to start with. Now there's only 2 left. One's in the UK. That's on a C of A. So hopefully those guys will be able to move that one to permit. And this one is in New Zealand, just waiting to be returned to the UK. And I reckon the last time I looked, I think it was for sale. So I reckon this is a perfect buy it, return it to the UK, stick it on permit. So
it's never going to exceed the maximum speed, is it?
It's not going to exceed the maximum speed. The maximum speed is what, 399? No, 299 miles an hour. I don't think, even if you pointed that downhill, it's not going to go that
not
fast.
Before the wings come off. No.
So yeah.
No.
So just looking, what have we got? Clive says, yes, Ed wins. Look at the trousers on that. Ed by miles. Winner by several nautical miles. Ed wins. Ed wins. Ed.
Oh, dear.
Sorry, Ian, you lost. Ed by miles. I think this might be one of these universal. It's hard to go wrong with de Havilland.
Yeah.
Ed's done it again. All just. There we go. Literally.
Leave a post in the comment. If we got some Ed Wins t-shirts, would you buy one?
Yes. And what size would you like?
We're only going to get one size.
There was some good. I saw a couple of good suggestions. Because people, where are they? As Paul Fraser-Benison says, there's 2 grounded Stinson 108s that may see a wing under their air, air under their wings because of this. And these, Stins, the big 4-seat Stintons are another aeroplane that would just be perfect to transfer to permit. And I know I spotted there's one new Stinson owner in the comments.
Yeah.
Tom Watson, who I know has bought a Stinson recently, so hopefully he can benefit from this as well. So, because they're aeroplanes that sensibly should be on permit. So, there we go.
Absolutely. I wonder whether
competition. No, they're not trousers; they're briefs. Yes,
but they're probably Oxford bags. Look at that.
Maybe, yeah.
Slightly hitched up at the ankles.
Yes.
Can you remember when they were all the rates? Have you still got some?
Dave White says, I buy a Dave Wins for Mrs. White.
I'm sure Mrs. White has got one of those already, Dave.
That's it. Clive says, 2 size small Ed Wins t-shirts, please. There we go. Well, I think Ed Wins t-shirts, we should have those.
I think we should have those, yeah. It's just that there's about 1,000 other things on the to-do list.
Claire B says, definitely print some. There we go.
Yeah.
Skycrow says everyone's forgotten Dave's joints already.
Thank you, Skycrow.
It's got a point though.
That's it.
What was it?
Give us your winning events instead.
Winning
Dave.
events. Okay. Yeah, this is a very busy weekend coming up. So I'm going to kick off and run through them very quickly. 26th to the 29th is the Glen Forza flying on Mull. The 27th, there's quite a lot. Vintage Piper flying at Popham. The Vintage Aircraft Club flying at Fenland, the Vintage flying at Enstone, the members flying at Sherburn. Over 27th to 29th, Spanfield, of course, the big Microlite event at Sandown. There's something called the Wingland Wacky Weekend on the 27th, 28th. Also over the 27th, 28th, Hot Air Balloon Festival at Newport on the Isle of Wight. Probably not going to fly into that, but be aware it's going on.
Hot air balloons in Spanfield.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It seems like a terrible Isle of Wight, terrible place to have a balloon fly out. It's like drift out over the sea.
It's a bit of northerly as well.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
28th, Kirkbride flying. And yeah, did you see that weather? Scotland's going to be the place to be on Monday.
And don't forget, of course, there's the Morecambe Bay.
Morecambe.
Oh, yes.
Which everyone should drop into on their way up to Glenforsa.
That's right. I haven't finished yet. There's yet more.
Sorry.
Still coming.
28th, there's a chance to fly into Manston. Manston is having a fly-in for fixed wing, not just for helicopters. It's a rare chance to fly in. 28th, the Wings and Wheels at Bidford. And on the 31st, the one we all were waiting for, really, the Teddy Bears Picnic at Shobden. I kid you not, there's a Teddy Bears Picnic.
I didn't know that.
31st.
That's Wednesday, isn't it?
Yes.
31st.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah.
It is. I believe it's a Wednesday.
Right. Yeah. I will. I'm going to Popham for the Vintage Piper flying. So see you there. If you're
I'm not sure where I'm going. I do think I am going somewhere.
I suggested Popham to you, but as you're bringing Mrs. Seeger with you, you went, no, she'll be really bored.
I can't imagine Mrs. Seeger is going to be too excited by vintage pipers and bacon sandwiches, so I suspect it might be more Le Touquet-ish. I would have gone to Scotland if I could find any accommodation, but I couldn't. So
it's all booked.
Well, at least that wasn't booked was outrageously expensive. You have to buy a Luscombe almost. Yeah. Okay. Are we at the end?
We are.
Thank you very, very much for joining us, everybody. Thank you, Luke, for being a great guest. Thank you, team. Thank you for watching. Have a great, safe bank holiday weekend. Looks like the weather's going to be amazing. Have fun, and we'll see you next week on Wednesday.
Yeah. Fly safe, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.